Okay, so now we have 73 participants. I will start now. Before I start, one question is someone wants to understand what is a string position. Now, a string position is for searching one string inside another one. Okay, so I want to search where is in this $d string. Now it will return the um, first occurrence of this string. So this is what we are searching, and this is in which we are searching. So now here there are two each, if you see here. So it means so this will return the first occurrence. So whenever is first occurring in this string, that position it will tell. A position in a string starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2. So it will return 2. Okay. Next. So next is we'll try to see how to work with database using PHP. Now, for all the database operations, I will be using PHP MyAdmin. Now, PHP MyAdmin is a GUI for connecting with the database. So all the database operations we can perform using this GUI itself. I don't have to go to command prompt and run the commands. Now, uh, if you have installed XAMPP, so like this is my XAMPP. So if I in this XAMPP, it will if you install XAMPP, automatically PHP MyAdmin will be installed, and it will come at a location localhost/PHP MyAdmin. If it is not there, then from internet you can download PHP MyAdmin, or otherwise you go ahead with command line, no problem. Now, so using PHP MyAdmin, I can perform any operation. So like suppose these are the list of databases. So like this is a database. I click on this. And it is showing me two tables, transactions and users. Now I can drop the tables. So I have no table now. I can also create a table. So like user table with number of columns, suppose 3, go. So username, varchar, and 30. Then email, varchar, 30. And suppose organization. So organization, varchar, and suppose again this is 30. And I can click on save, and it will create me a database table inside this database. So this is the user table. Now, if I want to add any data in this table, I can click on insert, and here the values I will add. So username like cdat.in, cdat. I can add another row, sys at udi.com, and something like union. If I click on go, it will insert, and if I click on browse on top, it will show me the list of the rows. Okay. Now, so next, So today we'll go through how the same operation, how we can do it with um, PHP, using PHP. Now there are few methods, like one is class oriented, one is procedural, and there is one more. So out of those, I will go with the procedural part on how to perform database operations. Okay. So let us start with. So I have created index.php. So first part is, so to connect to a database, we use MySQL I underscore connect. So this is a function which is used to connect to a database. Now, uh, if you want to connect to a database, first you require to know the address of the database, means on which system it is running. So it may be on the same system, it may be on another system. So in that case, you require the IP address of the system or domain name of the system wherever the MySQL is running. So currently, in my case, it is running on my same machine, so I will use localhost. Okay. Second thing is, I need a username and password to connect to the server. So database server. So I will use root and password currently blank. And the final thing, in that database server, there will be many databases. So I want to connect to a particular database. So I can write the name of this database. So suppose I will try to connect to test database, and done. So this is how I connect to my database. Now this function will return a connection object, which I will store it in $con. So first step was MySQL I underscore connect function, which is used for connecting to MySQL server. Now what does it take? It takes four parameters. First one is the host, means where is my MySQL server running. So since it is running on my local system, I am using localhost. Then second one is username, because every database is protected by username and password. If you enter username and password, then only you can connect it. So this is for the security. So second is username and third is password. Currently username is root and password is blank. And then the final is which database I want to connect in the database server. Okay. So inside a database server, there will be multiple databases. You can see here also. So inside this, these are the databases: Bell, VKYC, Firewall, Information Schema, MySQL, PHP, and Test. So, so I will be connecting to Test. Now this connection I am returning in $con. Next. Next is, since I have to execute a query, I need to write the query. So $query, and then suppose I want to insert into user table values. So I want to insert into database. So what will be the values? So suppose first is username. So I will use Sutos. Second one is email. So asu at ndtv.com. And third one is organization. So for that I will use ndtv. So first step was creating a connection. Second step was writing the query. And third step is for executing the query. So MySQL I underscore query. And then query takes two parameters. First one is a link. Now you can see here it says a link identifier returned by MySQL I underscore connect. Okay. So basically first will be the connection. So $con, and second one is query. So I will use $query, and done. Now, so I require basically one for connecting and one for executing the query. and of course I will need to write the query. So that's all. So in this way I can execute a query. Now, now let us run this. So localhost. Now there is no message because I have not written any message. So we'll do that also. In the meanwhile, let us browse and see if the row was inserted. So you can see the row has been inserted. So it means that my programming language, I mean code wise it is perfect. All I need to do is add a if statement. So if MySQL I underscore query, then echo uh, row inserted successfully, else echo error in database. Okay. So in this way, yeah, again, since I want to put another one, so I will use say at .co.in, and suppose organization will be Philips. Now this time if I run it, it will give me a message. So row inserted successfully. Okay, if I click on browse here, so it will show me the next row. Again, if I have to insert more rows, I can use it to Amit. Amit at visa.com. I can run and get the same message, row inserted successfully. If I click on browse, here the row has appeared, Amit at visa.com and visa. Okay, so is it clear? Any questions till now? No questions. Okay. Then we'll move on to our next thing. So this is for inserting into database. Now next part is for fetching from the database. So I will create another one, mysql.php. Now, of course, the first line will be common because whether you want to insert or whether you want to query, of course, you have to establish a connection. So MySQL I underscore connect, and then post, then root, password blank, and finally test. Now connection is done. Now next is query. So I will have to write a query. So select asterisk from user. So I'm trying to fetch all the rows from the user. And again MySQL I underscore query to execute the query. So this is done, but this is a select query. So it will respond me back with some rows and columns. So I need to store that inside something like dollar result equal to MySQL I underscore query. So once this is executed, it will return a set of result which I will store in dollar result. Now, so first thing is I need to check whether in the query there is any one even one row or not. So how can I check it? So if MySQL I underscore num underscore rows in dollar result is greater than 0. So MySQL I underscore num underscore rows, this will return the number of rows in the this result. So like for currently dollar restricts from user, if you see in database there are 5 rows, so it will return 5. But if that query is not successful, then the result will return 0 rows. So in that case, this value will be 0. So that's why I'm comparing that if this MySQL I underscore num underscore rows is greater than 0, then do something, or otherwise echo error fetching data from table. Or you can simply write no data. Okay, so this is one scenario. Now second scenario is, okay, I have some rows. Now I have to display that row. So for displaying that row, you can understand then there will be many rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, actually for now you know that there are 5 rows, okay? But there may be a case that you do not know how many rows are there. So in that case, we should use a for or while loop. So I will use while loop. While dollar row equal to MySQL I underscore fetch underscore associated, and inside I will pass result. Now, what is this function? So MySQL underscore fetch underscore associative, this returns one row in form of a associative array. Okay. If I, instead of this, if I write array, then it will return me indexed as well as associative. So for now, I only want to return in associated. So I will use associate. Now, before I could show you something, let us print this row. How does this row look like? So I will use print underscore r and row. So this functions returns one row from dollar result. And since it is in while loop, one by one it will uh, one by one it will fetch one row and assign it to dollar row variable, and we are printing this dollar row. Now let us see how it is. So slash mysql dot php, and let me put a line break. Misra, line number 7, this कहाँ थे? Okay, so first step is for connecting the database. So I require this parameters: host, username, password, and database. Second one is the query. Third one is I have to execute the query. So for executing the query, first thing I require the connection where I have to execute the query, and second thing is the query itself. So MySQL underscore query is for executing the query. Now, since it is a select statement, it will return me some rows. So I need to store those rows in $result. So that's why I have written $result equal to MySQL I underscore query. Now, next is that I want to check whether result has some data or not. So how to check? So there is another function, MySQL I underscore num underscore rows, which returns number of rows in the result. So in our current scenario, since 5 rows are there, so it will return me 5. So I have put a condition on this that if this number of rows is greater than 0, then do something. Otherwise, simply say that no data. So now, and so if there is no row, then no data, or otherwise now I have to display the row. So for displaying the row, there is a function MySQL I underscore fetch associative, which basically takes the parameter as results and returns one row at a time. Now, you remember yesterday we were going through for each. So for each was also doing the same thing, that it was array at every element in the array, it was returning and saving and assigning it to the other variable. So here also it will return a row and store it in $row. After that, I am simply printing the row to see how this row looks like. So let us see how this row looks like. So you can see that this row is basically an array where it is an associative array because I used ASSOC. Now, next example I will show you. I will use array, MySQL I underscore fetch underscore array. Now let us see how does this look like. Now in this case, you can see it is a combination of indexed as well as it is also showing the associative. So in a single array, indexed as well as associative. So so you can use either the index to print this value or the associative to print this value. Okay. So suppose that I want to print all the usernames. Okay. So what I can do is echo $row and username is at 0th index. You can see here, no? All the usernames are at 0th index. So I will use $row and 0. Now, so, and I'll put a separator, suppose this, and then I will try to print email. So for that email, instead of using, see, all the emails are at one location, 1. So this is also at 1, this is also at 1. Okay. So instead of using the index, I will use the associative part, which is the email. Done. So for printing the username, I am using indexed part. For printing the associative, I am for printing the email, I am using the associative part. So in both cases, you can see the value has come. So name and email address both have come. So so fetch underscore array, it will return all the even the indexed as well as the associative. If you only want the associative, so you use this, but in that case, this will also change to username. Okay, so this is how I fetch a data and display the data in MySQL. Any question till now? Okay. So this is a function MySQL I underscore fetch underscore associative, which will return one row from the result. Okay. So what I am doing is while loop means do something while this condition is true. Sorry, that is do while loop. So while this condition is true, execute the following. So if a row is returned, it will be stored in dollar row and then execute this. So this will return a row, MySQL I underscore fetch underscore associative, which I'm assigning. So assignment operator, dollar row. Now suppose this doesn't return a row because after 5, it won't return a row. So in that case, row will be null and the while loop will be exited. So this is only for iterating through the rows in the result. Now this is done. Now what we will do is we will go back to our form and I will create a form. So we have no dollar result is an object. You can there is no meaning of printing that. You can try to print. Let me show you. So it only gives you, it doesn't give you the information. It will only give you the metadata. Okay. So metadata like how many fields are there. Field means columns. And then how many rows are there. So this is the only the basic information it is giving, but not the actual row. So form and action equal to index.php, because in the index.php we were inserting into database. So I will use now the form to insert data into the database. Okay. Now the form first is input type equal to text, name equal to suppose name, and done. Next is input type equal to email and name equal to email. Input type equal to, so name, email, and sorry, text, and name equal to organization. I will just sort it org, and just a label I will put. So like name, email, and organization. And finally, I require a button. So I will use an input type equal to submit, value equal to insert. Now after each input, I will use a line break. Now this time I am using get method. I am not using post method. Now let us see how our form looks. So I will go to form.php. This is our name, email, and organization. Three fields are there. And then insert button is there, which will be used for inserting the data. So its action is index.php, where I have already written the code for inserting into database. Okay. But first, before inserting, I need to get the data from the form. So for getting the data from the form, I will use, like, suppose name I have to get. So name equal to $name equal to $_get. And what is the name of the field? Name. Then second is email. So email equal to $_get. And what is the name of the field? Email. So I will write here email. And finally, dollar name, email, and organization. So $organization equal to $_get. And then the name of the field. So what is the name of the field? org. So I will use same here, org. Okay. So with this, I got the name of the fields. Next is, in this query, I have to add this $name, $email, and $organization. So how can I do it? Simply replace this with $name, $email, and $organization. Done. So all I had to do was get the parameters from the for and then replace them in the query. So in the query now these values will go. Any doubt in understanding this code? So I got this three data from the form. This is a form. Then I need to get that data. So for getting that data, I'm using this $_get. So yes, Venkatesh, tell me. So to get data from a form, because form action is index.php. So once a form is submitted, it will go to index.php. Now to get the data, I need to use this $_get and whatever field name is there, either name or email or organization. So I used these three to basically get the value from the form. Now, once I got the value from the form, first step is to connect to database, and second step is to change the query. So in the query earlier, I was writing hard-coded values. Now I will write this value, $name, $email, and $organization. And then I am executing this. If it is successful, row inserted successfully. Otherwise, error in database operation. Okay. So so Himanshu is asking, is this _get is that super global? We can use post also. No, we cannot use post because the form has been sent using get. So if you change form method to post, then here you have to change it to post. So if here the method is get, you have to use get here. If here the method is post, you have to use post method. Now let us see the form. So I will add another Okay, so now I have put this data and I will click on insert. It will redirect to index.php and you can see row inserted successfully. If I go back here, click on browse, you can see Anu is there in the database now. Again, I can go back and add something else like 'inserted successfully. If I come back here, so you can see that Savik is also there. So this is how I can use the form for data. Now, same way you can create like for any company, you can create a registration page where all take all his information. And yesterday I show you how to save his photo, and today I show you that how you can save all his information into database. So these are the only two. So some information will be there and some file will be there, either resume or photo. So photo will be insert photo and file will be saved as per yesterday, which I told you, move underscore uploaded in this called file. And for storing other data, personal information or educational information, you can use today's method in the for inserting the data into database. Okay, so that's done. Now next part is AJAX. So AJAX. Now okay, so one question is Mohit is asking, how can we save password in database in encrypted form? Okay, so for that we use a function SHA. So like there is a function SHA1. So inside that, if I put like any password, like Anu, so suppose this is my password, Control X. Let me create one new file, ajax.php. Here itself I will show you, and then later we will replace it. So SHA1 is a function which will create a hashing of your whatever value you are passing. So whenever someone is inserting this data, his password, basically I will convert it to SHA1, and now this value will be new password, which I will store inside the database. So let me print this. You will see how this looks like. So this is your password value in the hash form. So Mohit, for you. Now next thing is, and same value I will insert into database. That's all. Now Aditya is asking, can you show how it works with different query? Okay. So now the thing is, I have already shown you two queries. One was insert query and one was select query. Okay, so more than that, what do you want to do? So in the select query itself, you may be adding some condition like where name equal to something. Okay, so for that, just wait for like half an hour, and I will show you with another query. So in the AJAX, we will cover one more query. Okay, now in AJAX, so AJAX is for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So AJAX is basically a method which uses few of the technologies like HTML, JavaScript, and XML to fetch some information asynchronously. So what is asynchronously? So suppose I was using form. If you see form, okay, and I put some value here. Once I'm clicking on this insert, it is going to another page. It is going to another page. Now, what I want is, I do not want to go to another page. Like if you go to facebook.com and if you type it here, something like ANU. So is it going to another page? No, it is simply showing the suggestion here itself. So it is not going to another page. Now, this is also a database operation because it will be searching from the database that what are the names which are starting from ANU. And this is also a database operation, but I have to go to another page for performing the operation. Even if I go to, even if I write the code on the same page, still the page will reload. I don't want that. Okay. So what I want is that the page will be the same, home.php, but in the background, it will request for a file, and whatever response comes, it will show here. Okay. So like here, Facebook. Now for searching, Facebook would have written one file, search.php maybe. And then whenever I am typing some value here, so whenever I'm typing some value here, it is sending those value to the backend server in the background. And then it is whatever result it is fetching, it is displaying here. Now same thing with Google suggestions also. So if I start typing here something, so you can see that it has started giving the suggestions. So how does it give the suggestion? So in the back end, it is not refreshing the page or it is not leading me to anywhere. So in the back end, it is basically creating a search query. So this is my search query that's search all the names starting from ANUR. And then it is sending that data to the backend to his another file like search.php. And then search.php is searching and returning the result, which result is displayed being here. Okay. So this is we want to achieve. Now AJAX, if you see asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So asynchronous means it is working in the background. Asynchronous means in the background. Now JavaScript is the technology which we will be using for performing this operation, AJAX operation, and XML is the data format in which the data will be exchanged. So this is how the name is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So what happens is I have a page and the page requests for a file. So like another file search.php, and then when the web server returns the search.php, it is displayed on the same page. So the page is not refresh home.php, only a call in the background goes to search.php, and then the response, whatever the response comes, it will be displayed here. So this is how AJAX works in the background. Now to implement AJAX, so of course we will be requiring one HTML or PHP file, and then we require JavaScript or jQuery for creating this request. Then there should be one more file which I am requesting. Like here I am requesting search.php and text equal to an. So this AN value I am searching, AN. If it was ANO, so it will change to ANO. And then search.php will perform some search operation, and whatever result is there, it will be returned to this home.php, and home.php will display that result in another div. Okay, any question in understanding this? Okay, before I get into the coding, I'll just repeat in a fast forward model. So I have one page home.php, and I have another page search.php. If I want to go from home to search, I can use a link. Now that link, but I will be redirected to that page. I don't want that. So what I want is, in the background, I will request for this page. This page will be executed, and whatever the execution is, result output, that will be returned here, which I will display in another div. This is my aim. Now in the AJAX, asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So in this AJAX, instead of JavaScript, I will be using jQuery. Now jQuery is a library which is based on JavaScript itself. So ultimately it is JavaScript. So first I will have to create first page, which is ajax.php, and in this I need to create few things. So first thing is, if you see here, one input box where I will type my search query. Okay, so let us create one input box. So input type equal to text, and placeholder equal to enter your search. And then I will put some ID. So ID equal to search key. So why I have kept the name search key? You can put anything, but I just to indicate this, that this is the key which, on the basis of which the searching will be done. And then on key up. So when someone is typing, then the searching will start. So on key up, search. So I've written a function search on key up. Next. So input is done. Next part is, there will be one div. So this is a division div, which will be used for showing the suggestions. So I need a div. So I need a div which will be used for showing the suggestions. Done. So for this, only two things are required. So one is this um, input box, and one is the div where the suggestions will be shown. Now let us write some style sheet. Now for suggestions, I will set the width to like 150 pixel and height to 100 pixel and border 1 pixel solid matter. So this is our ajax.php. Two things are there: input box and a suggestions div. Now let us look how this looks. How does this look like? So AJAX dot PHP. So this is here I will write my search query and here the suggestions will come. So if you think that the width is less, so I can change it to like 175. Okay. Similarly, height also can be increased to 150 pixel if required, depending on how many search results you want to show. Now, one important thing, Facebook. Now, if there is no search query, is the box coming? The box is not coming. But once I start typing, the box comes. Or once I click on it, the box comes. So, same way, the what we will do is we will hide it, and we will only show it once there is some result. So for that, I will use display none. So display is none. So it will only come once I uh, put a search query and I get a result. Now, so three things are done. So HTML is done and the styling is also done. Now, third thing, that once someone start typing in this input box, I need to execute this search function. So let us write about this. So it will be we'll be using a script. Then I will write the function search. Now function search will basically make a call to some other file like search.php. So this other file should also be created. So search.php. You can write any name. It's not like you can write search.php only. You can write research.php. So any name is fine. And then I will copy the this query part. Okay. Now, so ajax.php. So our research.php is created. Now let us go to our this. Now for searching, if you want to search, you need to also pass the value which is there in the input, because from using that value itself the searching will done. So I need the value from this input box. So how do I get the value? So val equal to this id. So I will use jQuery dollar search key dot val. So basically in jQuery, in JavaScript, what do you write? Document dot get element by ID, and then you write whatever ID is there, and then you write dot value. Now in jQuery it is short, so you write only dollar, and in the bracket you write the ID. Now here I will use for writing ID, you also need to specify the hash, because this place is basically for a CSS selector. So hash search key is a CSS selector, and dot val is a function that will return the value. Now if val dot length is greater than 0, means if someone has typed, then only go for the searching, otherwise do not search. So if val dot length is greater than 0, then it will search, else else do something. We'll see what to do. So first I need to get the value from the this input box, and whatever value I got, first I will check whether its length is greater than 0 or not. If its length is greater than 0, then only execute the AJAX. Otherwise, do not execute the AJAX. Okay, so that's why I have written it into if else loop. Now, for AJAX, there is a function in jQuery $.post. So you can use either $.get or post. Both methods are there. So I will use post. So $.post, done. Now $.post function, it will take few of the things. So I only wrote $.post, but which page and how I am passing the value, that is also required. So first parameter is which page do you want. So here I will write research.php. Now second part is I have to pass the value. So for passing the value, we use this notation. Inside that we write first the name of the parameter and then the value of the parameter. So suppose name of the parameter is key, and value of the parameter will be val, because this is the val which is storing the value of this search key. So key val. Next. So next part is that I did a AJAX query for research.php. I also sent the value, but I also need to perform some operation once the data returns. Okay, so like here, so first step is I perform AJAX query with the name of the file and the whatever text I want to send. Then it returned me the output. Now that output I need to display. So this is called callback function. So I made a call and some response came back. So I have to execute a callback function, means what to do once the result comes back. So for that, the third parameter is function, and inside function data. So data is basically the data which is returned once this query is executed. And for this function, I will use the curly braces. Done. Now data has come. Now I want to show this data into my suggestion box. So this is my suggestion box, and in this suggestion box I need to show this data. So how do I write that? So dollar has suggestions dot html and data. So I selected dollar suggestions and I set the HTML. Inside HTML, I wrote data. So whatever data is returning, it will be written inside this suggestion box. Now, if you use original JavaScript, so what will be this? So document dot get element by ID and then suggestions in the bracket dot inner HTML equal to data. So that is a big line. So this is a shorter version using jQuery. Now, one more thing I forgot. So what I forgot was that this suggestions, it is hidden because we put display to none. So the result has come and it has been inserted into this div suggestions, but this div is still invisible. So what I need to do is dot show. So dot show will basically show the suggestion. So which is hidden, it will make it visible. So dot show. This is done. Now what we missed was that jQuery is not a standard. So since jQuery is not a standard, so we need to include that jQuery file here. So script source equal to js slash jQuery hyphen 3.5.1 dot main.js. Okay, so I have added the jQuery. One question is there is what is the reference of key value in AJAX.php? What do you mean by reference? So the meaning
I
of,
meant the key. Yeah, this one. Yes.
so basically the second parameter is the values that you need to send. So like if I have to make a search, I am sending some keyword which will be used for searching, like AN. So ANU. So whatever names are starting with ANU or AN or anything, SO something. So that need to be sent. For sending that, we send the data in key value format. So value is this, and then I have to write some key. I can write here text also. Okay, I can write text also. Similarly, here, like here it is text. So text equal to AN. Only thing is, whatever I am sending here, same I should receive here. It's like just like the name of the input field.
Okay, sir. Sir, is that means that if we will type A, then the script will run, and then if we will type N, again the script will run two times. Is
Yes, it will run like that. That's how
okay?
everywhere it works. No, if you
Yeah, yeah.
A, some value is appear, N, some value will appear, U, some value will appear, R, some value will appear. So the depending on what is the your search query, the
Mm-hmm.
search result will change.
Okay. So sir, don't you think that it will be a burden on the server every time we will be fetching and getting the data every second? Uh, it, it will make it slow or
No,
not?
no,
No. Okay, sir.
no.
Thank you.
Why? There are say one thing is the this footprint is very less. So all you are sending a small value search query, and the server is only returning maximum 5 to 10 rows at one time. It is not returning all the million rows. Okay, so footprint is very less. So there is very less stress on the bandwidth.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So Salni is asking, please repeat line number 16 and 17. I will start. So $.post and function and close. So this is for sending a AJAX request using post method. Now in post method, first is what is the name of the file that you want to fetch. So in our case, it is research.php. Second is what is the data you want to send. So for sending the data, like in this case, I am sending text equal to AN. And what is AN? AN is basically whatever someone has typed into this input box. So, so field name, I will put text and value will be this VAL because that I have fetched from the search key. So val. And then third part is that once I did a query, some result will be returned, which is called callback. So once the result comes, I need to execute a callback function. Means what to do once the result comes. So for that, there is a function which I need to write. Now function, it will take parameter data. Data means the data which is returned using this jQuery. So what I have to do is once the result return, I have to insert it into div, the suggestions div, because suggestion div is the div which is showing the suggestion. So for that, I am using dollar has suggestions dot html. So inside dot html is equivalent to inner html. So equal to inside that I am inserting the data. Now this suggestions is hidden. Display none I have put now. So once the data comes back, I also need to show this. So dot show function. So this is line number 16 and 17. Okay, one more thing. So val.length is greater than 0, then do this query. Okay, now let us first see this. How does this run? And in research.php, let me remove everything and simply write something ANOOP. Now let us see if our AJAX is working or not. Now, if I type something, it is returning ANOOP. So it means that the whatever it means AJAX is working. So if I type here uh, hospital, so if I type here hospital and again search here, if it is writing hospital, it means I requested for that research.php and research.php is being returned to me. Okay, so this is working. The AJAX is working. Only part is on this side, I have to write the query for searching into database. So I will write the query for searching into database. So PHP. Now, first thing is I need to get that condition on which I have to be searching. So $key equal to what is the name of this field? Text. And what method I am using? Post. So I will write here $_post and then name of the field. So name of the field is text. So this is my search query. Second step is I need to create a query. So query will be select asterisk from the table name user where now I have to put the condition. So name should start from this. So name should start from this key. Now what is the field name? The field name is username. So I will write where name, sorry, username, where username like. So if I have to match some string, we use like. If it is a fixed string, then we will have to use equal to. So where username like percentage key percentage. Sorry. So what do I mean by percentage in the starting and percentage in the end? So percentage is a wild card which says that before key anything can be there and after key also anything can be there. So suppose that search key is AN. Okay. So if someone's name starts from AN like Anu, so that will also be returned. And and no, not only a start like Arpan. Now in this, the AN is at the end. So that will also work. Now, and same way, any name like Anu, Anil. So whether it is in the starting or ending or even in the middle. So give me some name where I can put something and at the end also something maybe. Kanan, yeah. So middle, end, everywhere. So if I put percentage in the starting, it means at the end, at the starting, anything may be there. And then if I put percentage at the end, it means at the end, something may be there. Anything may be there. So basically any name starting with n or starting with anything, but in the middle n or starting with anything at the end n, everything will be accepted. So this is done. Now I will establish a connection with database. So MySQL I underscore connect localhost root password blank test while dollar result while okay. So now I wrote the query, executed the query, made the connection, then executed the query, and then one by one I am fetching the result in a row and then printing that username using the associative notation. Okay, let us see if it works. So if I write A, anywhere where if A is there, Abhishek, Amit, Anup, Ashish, Ashutosh, everywhere A is there, so it will work. If I write AB, so only Abhishek is there. If I write AN, so only Anup and Anu is there. So in this way, I can display the name. Okay. So this is how I display the name. Now, one better way is that I can use list for displaying the names. So like I can use unordered list, and then once this is closed, I will use close UL, and all the result I will display in list item. So for that I will use li list item double quote dot row, and then instead of br I will simply have to write slash li. Okay, so all the names will be displayed in a list item. List item. Now list item, it doesn't look because dot is appearing. Yes. So whatever search query I am sending, depending on that, it will show the result. And if I am writing and in the research.php, if I write list, table, whatever, same way it will be displayed on the ajax.php. Now, now here it doesn't look so good because this dot is appearing. So all I have to do is make some CSS changes. So like UL margin 0, padding 0, list background color, suppose gray, and then list hover background color to anything pink, something like that. All those changes I can make so that it looks better. Okay, so background is red, sorry, gray. Now next question is, Rishabh is asking what output we will get at research.php. Same output, na? What I'm doing, whatever is research whatever is there on research.php, same thing I am displaying here by putting .html data. So if I am putting list there, list is coming here. Now, one more thing, if I typed AN, so Anup is displayed and Anu is displayed. Now I press 2 times backspace. Still the result is showing because it is what was already there in the div. So AN, the result is still there even if I remove this. So that's why I put here if val.length is greater than 0, then show the suggestions, otherwise hide the suggestion. Dot hide. So in that case, if someone has put backspace 2 times, so suggestion div should be hidden. Let's see. So if someone puts a AB, now suggestion is showing, but if he puts double back, the suggestion will disappear. So what is happening? So we have a file ajax.php where I can enter any search query. Now that search query goes to research.php, and on the research.php I have written code for searching into database, and whatever data is coming from the database I am displaying in form of a row list item. So unordered list and list item. Now if name is being displayed $row username, I can also display their images, but I require few images. Okay, so I need some images. Let us download some images. So what I will do is I will save this images with the username. So whatever username is there. So suppose Ashish. So ashish.jpg. This will be like anu.jpg. Then save.jpg. So amit.jpg. So done, and already I think Anup is already there. Um, one more we can copy. Asutosh. Done. So actually the images will be of a user, but in our case we'll just randomly I have downloaded some images. Now I want to display their images, and all the images the name is using their username. So what I will do is I will add a image tag img source equal to, now source, for source I will use the username.jpg. So username .jpg. So this is the source of the image. So this is our image tag. It says there's image and source equal to whatever username is there .jpg. So in this way, the image will be displayed along with the username. Let us see whether it is working or not. But before that, what I will do is, since images will have different sizes, so I will put a fixed size for the image. So like image width equal to 20 pixel. So that image is smaller. Now let us test this. Oops, the images are not coming because of the URL, because all the images are inside img folder. So I'll use img folder here. Now you can see image is appearing. So with all names, image is appearing, except for Sovic. I did not say for Sovic. So if I write AN, Anup and Anu, both images are appearing. So in this way, how I can add images also. I can add whatever information I want. Okay, so that's all for now in the AJAX part. We'll go for a break and see you at 10:45. If you have any question, just think of it. We'll go through the questionnaire after this session. Okay.